Hello and welcome to Cool Schools on WSYR Plus. I'm Bob Driscoll. This is the show where we talk about anything happening in schools across Central New York. Today we have a very special episode. We're joined by longtime Union Springs Port Byron soccer coach Jim Hodges, who just recently scored his 200th win. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
That's a very big honor. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Born and raised in the Union Springs area. Went to college, came back, and my old high school soccer coach decided to give me an opportunity to coach at the JV level to start off with, and I took it, and I've been there ever since.
Now, we'll get into detail about your 200 wins, your career, and everything throughout this interview, but when you hit that 200 win mark, what went through your mind?
Actually, it was kind of a sigh of relief I think I took. I didn't realize that I was that close until my son had started adding up some of the wins over the years, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty special. So once I hit that, it was a sigh of relief. And then actually this past weekend at our homecoming game, I hit number 300 combined between the boys and the girls programs over the years. So that's another milestone, I guess, as a coach there at Union Springs.
When you went into these games, and you hit these milestones, did you know before the game where you could celebrate when you hit it, or was it kind of after the fact? You're like, wait a minute, that was a huge accomplishment.
Well, again, my son had given me a little hint ahead of time, and there were certain games along the way this season that I tried to motivate our players to say, hey, this would be very special for Coach if we hit this, and they took it. They took all the pep talks that we had, and it made it very special for me to have this accomplished with such a young group of soccer players this fall.
And players listen to their coach, and they want to do stuff for their coach. I was telling you before we started this interview, I played soccer in Oneida back in the late 90s, and coaches have a way to motivate their team, right? How is the team doing this season so far? How's it going so far?
Right now, record is 9-5, which is a huge improvement from last season. We've tripled our win total from the previous year. We've got 2 regular season games left, and tomorrow will be a very special occasion for us because it'll be Senior Day. We'll get to honor the 7 seniors that are on our squad this year, and then we'll wait for the Section 4 seedings to come out and find out where we go towards the postseason.
Now, you've been coaching soccer between the different teams for how is it, close to 40 years?
40 years this year. Yeah.
That's incredibly impressive. How you kind of touched on it at the beginning. How did you get your start in it? Like, how did that all transpire?
Somebody gave me a chance. Somebody gave me an opportunity. I can't thank my former coach, Jim Kafari, who actually founded soccer in our community back in 1978. At the time that our community soccer program started, I was a little bit too old to play, but I was involved in the high school level. But my dad gave me a chance to be his assistant coach, and we coached my younger brother's team. And at the age of 15, I guess I caught that coaching bug, and I enjoyed it so much that I continued to coach during the summertime during my college years. And then once I graduated from Oswego, came back, and my high school coach was then the athletic director at her high school, and gave me an opportunity, and been there ever since.
It's maybe a tough question. Did you enjoy coaching better or playing better?
Ooh, that is a tough
That's
question.
tough, right? Both have different challenges.
Well, they're both very, my wife reminds me all the time, I'm a very competitive person. I played for a very long time between college and then each summer, myself and some of my former teammates and my coach, we used to play in the Onondaga, Syracuse area men's recreational league during the summertime, which was so much fun. Getting all the guys back together again and playing competitively like that. Playing was, I think that's a toss-up for me because I've enjoyed all the years coaching, and I love to compete.
I usually play defense because I'm 6'6", so my coaches I think thought I would be intimidating. They always told me to look scary. Did you play defense, offense? Like what positions did you play?
In high school, I played forward. I was I was tasked with scoring goals for our team. That was my role. When I got to college, I got an opportunity with my college coach to turn myself into a defender, a left back, and fell in love with defending. I figure I could track people down with my speed and destroy whatever was in front of me, and that was my job as an outside back. So, as a defender, I really enjoyed playing the game from that back line perspective.
Yeah, I always love that too, except when we got a corner kick in our favor and the coach wanted me to sprint to the other end of the field because of my height again.
Sure.
So it worked. It worked for me. Worked against me a little bit. When you started coaching, did you ever think that it would take you this many years, that you would be coaching this many years later?
Oh gosh, no. I thought that I'd be involved for a few years, and maybe move on to other things. But as time went on, and I was able to work with so many wonderful people over the years, and been married 30 years, and my wife continued to support me in my coaching. Very understanding woman, because I've gone quite a bit. And then when kids came along, my goal was to coach both of them. I have a son and a daughter, and the school district was gracious enough to allow me to switch over from the boys program once my son graduated, and I was able to coach my daughter in girls soccer as well, which was very fun for me.
No, you've mentioned these relationships you've built over the years. Like, how important is that to you? Like all the students, I know it's decades of relationships you've built, right?
That's everything to me. If there's one thing when I do finally walk away from coaching is that I can look back on fondly, is all the relationships, all the connections that you make with so many different people and their families, all the wonderful assistant coaches that I've had a chance to work with over the years, and all the opposing coaches that I've had a chance to compete against. It's like a brotherhood, and I've got so many great memories of competing and cooperating with so many terrific people.
Yeah, sometimes the rivals are your closest friends. Like we did an ASO summer league, and our big rival in high school was VVS. But during the summer, VVS was on our team, and when we were combined, we were like undefeated in ASO in the summer. So combined, we were great.
Yeah.
But sometimes the rivals, you can have your best relationships with.
Oh, absolutely.
I mentioned VVS was our big rival. Who's been your big rival over the years?
Well, probably right next door to us, the Southern Cuba Falcons. They've been our biggest rival since I played soccer in high school. Not only in the sport of soccer, but I think in all sports. Families know each other, kids know each other, and it's always good to go up against your rival in any sport.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you also coached the girls and JV teams. Can you tell us a little bit about that and some of your experiences there?
Well, my first 5 years in coaching was spent with the junior varsity boys. Again, my coach gave me Jim Kafari gave me an opportunity. He left. He moved on to a different school district to become an administrator. And a gentleman named Al Laux came in to be our varsity coach. And he opened the door for me for all kinds of opportunities. We were able to take a trip overseas, see how the game was played across the pond in England and Wales. And I'll never forget those memories. That was a great experience for me personally. And then after gaining some experience and a whole lot of confidence that I needed at the time, the girls' varsity program opened up. And that was my very first varsity position. Spent 5 years with them. and I was fortunate enough to win a sectional championship with the girls program back in 1994, and had some wonderful people to work with. My assistant coach, Dean Tanner, was my neighbor in the village of Union Springs growing up, and a teacher in the school district, and he was so valuable to me over the years, not only coaching the game of soccer, but coaching a young single guy working with kids at the high school level.
Did I hear you say earlier that you were able to coach your daughter as well during that time period?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was great for Dad. You'd have to ask her what it was like for her. Yeah, her senior year at Union Springs, I was able to coach her group of friends and teammates, and I had a great experience with it. Unfortunately, that year we had numerous knee injuries to some very important people on our team, which didn't give us the best results at the end of the year. But I also had a chance to coach her in the springtime with track and field, and those kind of memories you cherish for forever.
Did I also read that you coached your son as well? And this was a season that stood out, right? And you guys win a championship or something?
That was a
year?
very special season. I always tell people we turned a tragedy into triumph. Back in 2014, one of the team members got into a very serious motorcycle accident. And one of their classmates passed away from the accident, unfortunately. And it gave us some strength, I think. We didn't start the season off very well, and then the teammate, young Richie Salado, was seriously hurt in the accident, and he gave us motivation that year, and we became the likable underdogs, and our theme that year was Salado Strong. Each game we'd have a banner, either on the bench or on the fence surrounding our home field, and each player would go over and touch it, and it would remind them that, hey, we have one of our teammates that's fighting to recover from some serious injuries, and we're going to play for him and play for each other.
That's incredibly inspirational to hear the team came together in something like that. I mean, it's especially at that age, that kind of thing can take a toll on kids, and for them to come together like that, that's incredible.
I always tell people that they started the season off as boys, and they ended the season as men, young men. They had to grow up. They had to face some adversity that they weren't expecting. And I can't tell you how proud I am of that group, because they came together as a team and played for each other, played for Richie. And it was so great to see as Richie started to recover from his injuries and feel better, the team got better. He would come and watch some of the games when he was able to, and it gave us great inspiration. And that was a special time for the boys soccer program.
I mean, inspirational moments like that have probably stood out to you throughout your coaching career. Have there been any other ones that jump at you?
Wow.
A lot, right?
Each season is unique and different, because as a high school coach, you're trying to blend all these different personalities each season into a team. And I think from that year on, our mantra, our cheer before we go out on the field is, if you work hard and if you work together, you're always going to be successful, whether it's on the soccer field or life. Those life lessons that I'm able to share with the players is very important to me.
And that could be an answer to my next question. Like, how do you measure success beyond wins and losses? Is it lessons like that? Is it experience like that?
Absolutely. Wins and losses come and go, but those life lessons that you can take with you after high school through athletics can be so important and so valuable to you later on in life.
Have you ever had a season that didn't start off well, or you had a lot of losses? How do you keep a team motivated in times like that?
Try to make sure first and foremost they're having fun. Try to focus in on playing for each other, and then continue to come up with new ideas and new drills, new practice plans to keep them engaged and motivated. And then I have to admit, there's been some seasons where that's been challenging for me. But I've always been blessed with great assistant coaches that helped me along the way, and a great group of community people and families that will support us no matter what.
You've probably seen the game change over the years, right? Styles, the different types of plays that are run. What have you noticed that stood out since you began coaching to now that's changed with soccer?
I think soccer's become a lot more technical. We have a few boys on our varsity team now that go and play club soccer. They travel up to the Rochester area to play, and I noticed with their technique and some of the tactical awareness that they've gained through the experience of being on a club team has changed. The speed and the physicality at the boys' level is always going to be there. But I think the tactical and technical part of the game is always evolving.
Our coaches always kind of instill with us there's no off season, right? Like during the winter we played indoor, during the summer we played ASO. So in these club soccer, we even played at the Y in the spring at times. Do you encourage your soccer players to do this, to keep going all year?
I actually encourage my soccer players to play other sports. The one thing that I impress upon them is that when I went to college, I remember one of the first questions my college coach asked me was, what other sports did you play in high school? Because I think you can gain some knowledge and some confidence by playing other sports. And I always am fearful of having the kids burn out, so to speak, by playing too much of one sport. But again, we encourage them, if you have the time, we would love to see you, and we have our boys play some indoor, or like I said, the club soccer is gaining more popularity. So if they have the time to devote to that, fine. But I really encourage my guys to go out and play other sports.
When I joined soccer, I admittedly joined it to play with my friends. I joined it kind of 10th grade in high school, joined the JV team, knew nothing about it, was horrible at it. But over those years, and I learned like a work ethic that I carried with me still to this day. Do you think playing sports like soccer, team sports specifically, can build one's character throughout life?
That's been my number one goal since I started coaching soccer. That was something that was instilled in me through my high school coach, through my father, and with all the wonderful assistant coaches that I've had a chance to work with, that those kind of habits and that mentality can be created through athletics. And it's great to see when you give a kid an opportunity to go out there and learn the game and be part of a team and have a better understanding of what it takes to be successful. To me, that's the most gratifying thing a coach can experience.
Have you faced any challenges over the years? Like specifically comes to mind 2020 with COVID. Did you run into any challenges in your career?
Oh, absolutely. That was a weird year, because I know, and most of school districts were shut down, and kids were learning remotely and separated from each other socially. The school district where I coach in Union Springs brought back a brief schedule, a brief season, so kids were given an opportunity to play. We all wore masks, and we all worked. But it was strange practicing in March instead of back in August and September. But to give those kids an opportunity to be together and play some soccer was very gratifying for me.
Yeah, that's right. I kind of forgot about that. Some of the schedules for the time of year sports were played were all changed at that point. Have you seen any of your former players go on like you did to kind of keep with the soccer career, either playing, coaching, anything like that?
I actually just saw one of the girls that was on our 1994 sectional championship game coaching at our rival school, Southern Cuga, at the girls' modified level, teaching the game, really teaching the young people and introducing them to competitive soccer. That was very gratifying for me to see. But anything that the former student athletes that I've worked with choose to do in life, I'm proud of what they've grown into be. But yeah, there's been a few. I've only technically I've only coached 2 soccer players in all my years that have gone on to play at the Division I level. People don't realize that it's a very small percentage of athletes that are able to go on and play at the highest collegiate level. Both the athletes were terrific players for us in our programs. I don't think I had anything to do with how they got involved at the Division I level. One young man walked on at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and by his senior year, he was the captain of the team. That's a credit to his character and his work ethic, and enjoyed all 4 years out there at Illinois, Chicago. The other one was our goalkeeper from the 1994 girls program. She went to Broome Community College down in Binghamton to play basketball. Their goalkeeper, her sophomore year, was injured. They heard that she had had some background in soccer and asked her to play. That team from Broome ended up winning the National Junior College Championship. And then she went on to the University of Tulsa for 2 more years and played collegiately there and got herself a wonderful education.
That's amazing that she kind of worked her way into that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you bring up a good point of how hard it is to get to that next level. Like, I don't think I realized how much skill you need to play soccer until you try it, right? I mean, the endurance you need to have, the running and the skill set and knowing the drills. And it's not as easy to run and kick and move a ball around as people think until you try to coordinate all that at one time.
Sure.
But yeah, it takes a lot of skill, and it's definitely a sport I fell in love with, by default, by playing it all those years. What would your advice be to a young coach just starting out now? Because, I mean, when you were a coach, probably what you had in your mind is different from how you coach now, right?
Oh, sure. I think the best advice I ever got was from one of my former colleagues, Adam Heck from Lansing, who's unfortunately passed on a few years ago. And we came into the boys varsity level at the same time. Our very first boys varsity soccer game, me at Union Springs, he at Lansing, was against each other. And when we made that incredible run in 2014, I leaned on him for a lot of advice. I'd never been in that situation before. And he says, don't change a thing. Be who you are. Make sure that your team understands that, hey, we're not going to change who we are, our identity. We're just going to continue to try to get better. Sound advice for any new coach. Just be you and try to bring out the best version of your team as you coach.
Now, today, obviously, we're talking about your milestone of the 200 wins that you reached earlier this season. What would you say your biggest accomplishments are besides that throughout your career?
Well, personally, I think marriage and the birth of my two children. Having a wonderful wife and starting a family. Those kind of things. And I try to relay that message on to the players that I coach, that don't ever take any of this for granted. This is a privilege, being a student athlete. And make sure that you thank the people that help you along the way, because those are very important people, very special people in your life.
This is a tough one. What do you think your legacy will be?
I don't know. It is a tough one. Good coach, good person. I try to convey that in my coaching career. Competitor, and somebody who was given an opportunity and stayed loyal and kept finding new ways to get better.
Hundreds of wins under your belt, decades-long career. What's next?
Oh, I'm going to keep having fun. This has been so much fun for me over the years. It's funny, I get that question asked quite often now. And I said, well, if I'm still having fun, I'm going to continue to coach. When the fun stops, that'll be the signal to step aside and let somebody else take over.
That is an amazing philosophy to have. I absolutely love that. Those are words to live by. Coach Jim Hodges, longtime Union Springs Port Byron soccer coach, celebrating a huge milestone, 200 wins, up to 300 if you count your entire career. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. This has been lots of fun, more fun in my career.
All right, and if you have something going on at your school you want us to talk about, you can always email me, coolschools@localsyr.com.